Hey guys, hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So CSIR has announced their official answer key as well as they have announced the response sheet, and I hope that you have already seen your response sheet by now. So when the exam was held, I discussed with you that what is the level of exam and what type of question it was asked, and as you all might already know that this time the question paper was very different than what CSIR usually asks, or basically I would say that it was very different from the previous year's questions, and students were not prepared for what actually came in front of them. So I told that time also that when the response sheet and when the question paper will be uploaded by CSIR, I'm going to analyze that completely, and probably I'll discuss about the cutoff, the expected cutoff, which according to me, looking upon the level of question, looking upon the type of question which is asked. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to show you a detailed analysis of what type of questions were asked, from where they were asked, which part was more have more weightage this time, and we will also discuss about what is the expected cutoff. And in a separate video, in upcoming video, I'm going to discuss about what could be your strategy for the next CSIR net exam, because looking upon this type of question paper, and if CSIR keep repeating asking such questions or making such question paper, then the things are going to change a lot, and you have to change your strategy, you have to change your way of preparation, and that's where I hope that I can make a separate video for that with a detailed analysis. But for this video, I'm going to talk about the detailed analysis of the CSIR June 2024 exam question paper, and I'm going to talk about the possible cutoff for this particular exam. All right, so I will start from this part that if you look upon CSIR net question paper, the complete question paper, it consists of 120 questions, out of which 100 questions are of chemistry and there are 20 questions of general aptitude. Okay, let's leave general aptitude for now, we'll talk about it a little later. But if you look upon chemistry portions, out of those 100 questions, 60 questions are asked in part C. That means these questions are of 4 marks each, so that means 60 questions of 4 marks each makes it 240 marks, and the rest of the 40 questions are of 2 marks each, which makes it 80 marks. So 240 plus 80 if you do, so you get by the maths 320 marks. So the chemistry portion all in all has 320 marks questions, out of which you only have to attempt, and of course you have to add the general aptitude part questions, which are 20 questions for 2 marks each, so total it is 40 marks. If you combine, so the whole question paper is 40 plus 320, which makes it 360 marks. So the whole entire question paper is of 360 marks, out of which you have to attempt the questions of 200 marks. Okay, from in which you have to attempt 25 questions from part C. Maximum number of 25 questions are from part C, 4 marks, and you can do maximum number of 40 questions, 35 questions from part B, which is of 2 marks, and you can do maximum of 15 questions from part A, which is from the general aptitude part. Okay, again I'll talk about general aptitude part a little later. But technically, if the chemistry portion, if the whole entire chemistry portion is of 320 marks, so that means that it should be equally divided among organic, inorganic and physical chemistry, and that means that all of these portions should be somewhere around 110 marks each. Okay, or 108 marks each. That's how you can divide them equally in all these three portions. But this time, if you will observe, and that's what I'm going to show you now, that this time the question paper was more the questions were more from the inorganic portion. Inorganic portion was having highest weightage this time, and there were a total of 36 questions which were asked, including part B and part C. Like I'm including 2 marker and 4 marker questions of inorganic chemistry, and if you combine them, so total questions were 36 questions from inorganic chemistry, and the marks weightage was 118 marks. Okay, so inorganic was 118 marks. The next was your organic chemistry. Organic chemistry was, there were 33 questions from organic chemistry. Again I have combined part B and part C both, and it was 104 marks. And physical chemistry was asked only for 98 marks, and there were 31 questions from here. Okay, so that means if you look upon the number of questions also, inorganic chemistry had more number of questions than organic chemistry, and the least number of questions were from physical chemistry. And if I talk about the difficulty level, so organic chemistry was very difficult, that's what I can say. And the questions were not straightforward, they were tricky, they were time consuming, and they were type of question where you might get confused between two options. Typical CSIR net way of asking organic chemistry. Okay, if you talk about inorganic chemistry, which usually in all the CSIR net exam, if you see all the previous year's question, the level of inorganic chemistry remains either average or it remains easy. But this time inorganic chemistry was difficult. Okay, it was above average, and the questions were not straightforward. It was like, in order to answer a question, you have to go through some reactions, and then the product of that reaction is going to help you to solve the questions. So that means that inorganic chemistry, which usually used to remain easy, was difficult this time. Considering that fact, if I have analyzed the whole part separately, and now I will show you my screen. We will get back to my screen, and where I'm going to show you each and every part in detail, and I'm going to talk about the topics from where how many questions were asked. But yeah, if you talk about the overall paper, so overall paper was inorganic chemistry oriented, then organic chemistry and the physical chemistry. Physical chemistry was easy, I would say. Generally in CSIR net you will find physical chemistry easy, and this time also it was easy. There were very direct questions which I have seen from physical chemistry, especially from molecular spectroscopy related questions. They were quite easy, and even thermodynamics questions were approachable. Then yeah, instead of general thermodynamics or chemical thermodynamics, they have asked more questions from statistical thermodynamics. We'll talk about it in a little detail in a moment. But yeah, inorganic chemistry was difficult, and that made this question paper, or that made this exam different from others. Okay, and also the way of asking question was of course different from the previous exam. So let's go to my screen now. Let's look upon my screen, and let's discuss about all these in detail, and then at the end I'll talk about the cutoff and all. Alright, so as I was talking about the whole CSIR net July 2024 exam, and I have already told you in the introduction part that there are 120 questions, out of which 20 questions are asked in general aptitude, and these were asked for 40 marks, whereas 100 questions are asked in chemistry, which are of 320 marks. Now this is the weightage, or this is the how the total marks is being distributed among organic, inorganic and physical chemistry. So as I said, there are total number of 36 questions from inorganic chemistry, and the weightage which they carry is 118 marks. So that's the highest weightage. Then comes organic chemistry, which has 33 questions, out of which which carried 104 marks. Remember that here I have included part B and part C both questions, so that means we have added 2 marker and 4 marker both combined over here. Physical chemistry was of least weightage, 31 questions of 98 marks, but it was the easiest part of the question paper. Okay, so now let's go into the topic one by one, and let's discuss about these topics in detail. Okay, so let's start with inorganic chemistry. Okay, so inorganic chemistry, these are the chapters which I have mentioned, and I have mentioned that like how many questions we have got from 2 marker and how many questions we have got from 4 marker, and what was the weightage. So the highest weightage was for organometallic compounds. Of course, it's one of the major compound, it's one of the major chapters which has highest weightage from inorganic chemistry, and we expect always to have more number of questions from here. So 6 questions in 2 marker and 6 questions in 4 marker. Total weightage which we have got from this chapter was 36 marks. So 36 marks questions we got simply from the organometallic chemistry. Some questions were easy, but some were very difficult, and they were not that easy to approach. Especially there was one question where people got confused, where which many of you discussed with me while challenging the question, which was based upon cobalt complex and the change in hapticity of CP ligand. So yeah, there were certain questions which were confusing, and of course like this was of highest weightage. Then the next one comes chemical bonding. This was the third highest weightage, and from here we got one question from 2 marker, and we got 2 questions of 4 marker. The total weightage for this topic was 10 marks, and again this is also one of the topic from where we expect easy questions, but they were not that easy this time. Coming next to the coordination chemistry, this is the second most weightage topic, or the topic which carries most number of questions. 3 questions from 2 marks, 3 questions from 4 marks. Total weightage was 18 marks for coordination chemistry. Periodicity, this time only carried 1 question of 2 marker. Main group elements, where we expect a lot of questions from, so we got 1 question in 2 marker which is in part B, and we got 3 questions in part C. Total weightage was 14 marks, expected topic. Okay, from F block element we only got 1 question in part C, which was not a easy question. It requires little bit of in-depth knowledge of the topic to answer that question, and this was asked for a 4 marks. Okay, this time there was something which I would say that nuclear chemistry, generally we expect a question of 2 marker from nuclear chemistry, but this time we got one question of 4 marks from nuclear chemistry in the inorganic chemistry portion. Bioinorganic chemistry, if you look upon the previous year's question, and this is what we were looking upon the trends of questions, and if you see previous 2-3 years questions, you will find that there were a lot of questions from bioinorganic chemistry which they started asking. And considering the importance of this topic in the research field also, we were expecting more number of questions from here, but this time we just got one question of 2 marks from bioinorganic chemistry, which was a little strange. That's why I said this time there were a lot of things which were changed. Okay, and there were a lot of things which we got which we didn't expect it from here. Next come inorganic spectroscopy. We got 3 questions of total weightage 12 marks. Okay, that means 4 marks each. So inorganic spectroscopy, I have always emphasized on this topic. This is one of the topic where you have to focus a lot, because this has a lot of practical practical information, and it is used widely in your research field. So that's why inorganic spectroscopy, organic spectroscopy, molecular spectroscopy, these are certain topics which are my personal favorites, and these are also important from the research point of view. So I recommend every one of you to read and study these topics in detail. Analytical chemistry, generally we expect 2 marker question from here, but we got 2 4 marker question, strange again. And from acid base, again we got 2 questions from 4 marks. So total, this is the weightage wise, this is the topic wise marks distribution. So this time what was different? Okay, the thing which was different is, first of all, bioinorganic chemistry, we expected more number of questions from here, that was not asked. And secondly, we were expecting more number of questions from coordination chemistry, which was not asked this time. And there were certain questions of D block which especially they were not easy. Okay, they were like asked from a little in depth from the topic, and that made inorganic chemistry difficult. If you look upon any question from inorganic chemistry, they were not like, if you read the question you can directly answer them. Either there was some exception involved, or there was like you have to solve the question in order to look upon the options and try to answer it. That made inorganic chemistry difficult this time. Okay, going to the next part, which is physical chemistry, which I would say the easiest part of this exam. And again, as expected, quantum chemistry has the highest weightage of 18 marks, 1 question from 2 marks, 4 question from 4 marks, every time expected, highly weightage topic, and that's what we got. Chemical kinetics, 2 question 2 marks, 2 questions from 4 marks, total weightage is 12 marks, second highest topic. Then this time strange was surface chemistry, statistical thermodynamics, statistical thermodynamics and group theory. They all carried equal weightage, 10, 10, 10 marks each. Now, why it is strange? The thing is, which is different over here, is that generally we don't expect surface chemistry of this high weightage. We generally expect it of 6 to 8 marks, but this time it was asked for 10 marks. We got 3 questions, 1 of 2 marks and 2 questions of 4 marks. Again, group theory, we expect 10 marks, that's fine for group theory, but for statistical thermodynamics, again we don't expect this much question. But I will suggest you one thing, that from the recent years, thermodynamics and statistical thermodynamics are becoming very important. The weightage distribution between statistical and classical thermodynamics is changing. Earlier we used to get less number of questions from statistical thermodynamics, and we used to get more number of questions from classical or from the chemical thermodynamics, but now it is shifting more towards the statistical thermodynamics. So you have to study statistical thermodynamics in more detail now. Okay, data analysis, fine, 1 question of 2 marker, polymer chemistry, 1 question of 4 marker. These are all small topics, and that's fine. One more strange thing is that molecular spectroscopy, we generally expect more questions from here, but we just got 2 questions of 2 marker, and the overall weightage was 4 marks. From solid state chemistry, there were 2 questions of 2 marks and 1 question of 4 marks, total 8 marks weightage. So molecular spectroscopy gave a little, like, this was little strange for me. Generally we expect more number of weightage from molecular spectroscopy. Coming to electrochemistry, we got 8 marks from here expected, and then comes equilibrium. So we got, so if you combine these 3 topics, thermodynamics, statistical thermodynamics and equilibrium, these all are very related topics. So overall you got 6 plus 6 12 plus 10, that is 22 marks. So these are the topics from where you can actually fetch more marks, even if you don't, if you're preparing for physical chemistry, and let's say if you are afraid of quantum chemistry, which you should not be. Okay, quantum chemistry is very easy. Again, we have launched our own batch. We are we have our own batch for physical chemistry. If you are afraid of physical chemistry, or if you are having trouble in understanding physical chemistry, we have detailed batch, gamma batch running on our app as well as on our website. Link is there on the description of this video as well as in the pinned comment button. Pinned comment, like you can go to the comment box and see over there. So you can purchase our batch, you can purchase our course over there. It comes with a very minimal cost of rupees 2500, and you can get all the recorded lectures, detailed classes, plus mock test, plus class notes. All the things are provided over there, so you can have a better understanding of the topic after enrolling yourself into that course. But yeah, you can look upon that how physical chemistry is asked, and if you just do some small topics like solid state chemistry, see, that's what made physical chemistry easier this time, because smaller topics like solid state, polymer chemistry, even I would say like topics like surface chemistry, chemical kinetics, they had a high weightage this time. They were asked more than usually they are asked. Solid state is generally asked for 4 marks. This time it was asked for 8 marks. Same goes for surface chemistry. It is usually asked for 2 to 6 marks. This time it was asked for 10 marks. So the high weightage for these small topics made physical chemistry easier this time. Okay, now let's talk about organic chemistry. So if you look upon organic chemistry, as I said, this was asked for 104 marks. From GOC, you got one question in 2 marker. The weightage is 2 marks. We expect high number of questions from reaction mechanism and reagents and name reaction. Of course, they have 38 and 12 marks, so 50 marks from this topic itself, from these two topics. These are like the boss of organic chemistry. So if you are preparing organic chemistry, these are the topics from where you are going to fetch the highest marks. But the questions were not easy, they were very confusing. They were not from one step reaction. Stereochemistry was involved. Typical way of asking questions from organic chemistry. Okay, that was repeated this time, and I would say this was repeated in a more difficult manner this time. That made organic chemistry difficult. Spectroscopy, organic spectroscopy is one of the part from where you could have fetched good marks, and it was asked for 18 marks this time. Pericyclic reactions was asked for 14 marks, 3 questions from 4 marks, 1 question from 2 marks. Generally, we don't see 14 marks from pericyclic. We generally see around 10 marks from pericyclic and photochemistry combined. But this time, if you combine both these topics, so you got 18 marks from here. Heterocyclic compound, just 1 question of 4 marks. Natural products, 1 question of 2 marks. And stereochemistry, you got 3 questions from 2 marks, so total 6 marks. So if I would say that what governed most part of organic chemistry, so your reaction mechanism, reagents and name compound, organic spectroscopy, and pericyclic photochemistry, if you just do 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 topics, most of your organic chemistry was covered over here. So this was a detailed analysis of topic-wise detailed analysis of CSIR June 2024 exam. Now let's talk about the expected cutoff. So after looking upon the complete question paper, after analyzing every part in detail, I would say that the cutoff is definitely going to go lower than expected from the previous years. Like if you will look upon the previous year's exam, and if you will try to analyze and try to tell the cutoff based upon that, I don't think that will be justified, because the way of asking question was different, and it's not easy to get around 120 marks this time from this type of question paper. If you are someone who is getting 120 plus marks, you can easily see yourself among top 50 or top 20. Okay, because that's what I think according to me. Okay, according to my analysis, I would say that the cutoff for CSIR JRF for general category should go somewhere between 100 to 105. It should not go more than 105. Okay, it should remain below that. Of course, there are many factors which can play a role, but that's what I personally think, and that's what my analysis says. That should be under 100 to 105. It can go even lower than 100, depends. Okay, it is very subjective, but my analysis says that it should be 100 and 105. If you are getting marks 105 plus or 110 plus, you can consider yourself in a safe zone. You can consider yourself in a safe zone that you should be getting JRF this time. Then if I talk about LS, so you can simply reduce around 10 marks from there. So for CSIR net LS general category, the cutoff should go somewhere from 92 to 96, 97 marks. That should be the range for CSIR net LS, because it was difficult paper and I don't think the cutoff should go high this time. Okay, this should be the range for ideal range for cutoff. And for other categories, if you want to look for EWS or OBC category, you can simply reduce 5 or 10 marks from here. So I have just given you a threshold marks. That should be the range in which you can expect the cutoff for CSIR net exam. Category wise cutoff, it's like you can simply find yourself, or it's very easy to understand. If I have told you for a general category cutoff, if you reduce 10 marks, if you take a 10 marks gap, you will get the cutoff for OBC. If you take a gap of 7 or 8 marks, you will get the cutoff for EWS. And then if you take a gap of 20 marks, you get a cutoff for SC/ST category. And for PWD candidates, the cutoff generally goes around 50 marks. That is fixed from past many years, so that should be remain 50 marks, okay, for this particular exam. But yeah, that's what my analysis says, and I hope that this particular video made sense. And I will be coming up with a separate video where I'm going to talk about what should be your approach for the upcoming December exam, and based upon the detailed analysis which I have done for this particular paper, I will be making a approachable strategy that should be your strategy for the upcoming exam, so that you don't miss out that exam, and you should be prepared with the changes which CSIR is making throughout these years. Okay, so stay tuned for that. If you are not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to it. And we are also running our own batch for the upcoming CSIR December 2024 batch. So that's a Gamma batch running on our app as well as on our website. The details are there in the description of this video. Also, the details are in the pinned comment box, so you can check out those links. If you want, you can purchase those courses and enroll into our batch and take advantage of our physical chemistry classes. So that's all from my side for this particular video. I will see you guys in the next one. Till then, have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.